Welcome back to the vlog. We're going to be at Hustler Casino for our meetup game in this video. It was a pretty quiet session for me. Didn't get a lot of playable hands. I just made the best of what I had going. So I put a couple hands from Capital Casino in at the end from a session I had that didn't have enough material to make a full vlog out of, but had two interesting hands that I'm sure you guys will be interested in seeing. So sit back, relax, enjoy. Here it comes. Eric from Fish Poker, Andrew Locke, and myself are here at Hustler Casino for our meetup game. Really looking forward to this. Been planning it for quite some time. Turnout seems a little bit light today, but we're going to have a fun time anyway. Sit down in the game, buying for $500, and I got a little gift from Faded Poker. He brought me a little Baby Yoda. Very kind of him. I put it on my stack, but Zeus wants his own place, so we switched that out for a Zeus poker chip. Was pretty slow. I picked up a couple suited connectors like this one where I had 4 or 5 suited, open for a raise. I get a call, and then someone puts in a big 3-bet. Nothing to do here, but just let it go and move on to the next hand. But really didn't pick up too many premium hands. I find myself in the small blind after a couple limpers, decide to raise it up to 20, get one caller from the player in the hijack. Flop comes out 9-6-4 with 2 diamonds. So it doesn't really hit my hand, but it really shouldn't hit his too much. I do have a backdoor flush draw and 2 overs. I c-bet for $20. He doesn't think too long before putting in the call. When he does, I don't think he has that much. I think he's just taking one off. Turn card comes as a 4 of hearts. All the straight draws miss, all the flush draws miss. Unless he's sitting there with a 4, he shouldn't really care too much for his hand. I decided to go for a little bit bigger sizing here, so I bet out $60. And he didn't think long at all on this one, and he puts in a quick call. So I'm thinking he has something good. I just don't know what it is, hoping to catch an ace or a queen on the end. River card comes as a jack of hearts, so it really shouldn't complete too much. I'm hoping my ace high is good. I check it down, tell him I have ace high, and as I start to roll it over, he shows ace king. So good play on his part. Didn't expect him to call down that turn bet. Again, I've only been getting a lot of suited connectors to play, so when you get them to play, you got to play them. So here I am in the big blind. It was a raised pot. I do defend from the blind. Flop comes out queen 5-7. Not too good. I check it, and it gets checked around. When the turn card comes as a 4 of clubs, it really shouldn't hit anyone. So I decided to try to take this one down with a little bet. So I put out $30, and I end up getting one caller from the same player from the previous hand. Obviously, he thinks I am a bluffer because he called me down with ace-king last time. Let's see if I can improve and spike a 6. River card comes as a jack of clubs, so we got 9 high. Last time I checked down and he won it with ace high. I'm going to make him call a bet this time. So I put out $65. He goes into the tank for a long time, and finally he decides on folding. So a punt was avoided, and we win this small pot. It's time to rotate tables. Andrew sits down in my seat, and apparently he plays better than I do. Got a late start filming this, but I picked up 2 queens, open for a raise, get defended by the player in the big blind. Flop comes 8-8 deuce with 2 hearts. It's a check to me. I decided to check this one back because this opponent will know that's not really in my range and try to take it away from me. Turn card comes as a 5. He leads for $15. I'm just going to put in the call. Hopefully he will continue to bluff away. We go heads up to the river, and the river card comes as a 7 of diamonds. Well, the 7 really shouldn't change too much. If he had a hand, he still has it. If he doesn't, he's probably just going to be bluffing off to me. He thinks for about 10-15 seconds and finally puts out a bet. I'm definitely going to be calling this bet. I don't think there's any value in raising. I think he just has total air. He says he has nothing. I show the queens. It's the first hand I've shown down that's been a winner in over 2 hours. Still completely card dead. I look at 5-6 of diamonds. I decide to raise it to 20. From the cutoff, after one player limps, I get one caller. Flop comes out Jack 8-6 with one diamond. So bottom pair, backdoor straight, and flush draws. It's check to me. I just check it back. Turn card's a good one. It's a 6. We make trips. Better yet, my opponent thinks that I don't have anything in that kind of range because I raised pre-flop and I checked on the flop. So he bets $20 into me. I put in the quick call. A raise in that spot would only make him fold all his bluffs. I don't think he has too much. Figure the king of diamonds might slow him down on the river. He bets $25. I think this is a very weak attempt to steal the pot. Anyway, I got to go for value. I got trips. Maybe he made a pair of kings. I put in the raise. He quickly mucks it and on to the next hand. Of course, you can't have a meetup game with Eric from Fish Poker unless you have some beer involved.
Oh my god. 150?
This is definitely the most interesting hand of the evening. There was a limper. I looked down at 9-7 of spades from the cutoff. Haven't had much to play all night long. 9-7 starting to look pretty good. And I figure with my tight image, I might as well put it to use. I put in a raise to 20. I get called from the player on the button who is a follower of the vlog. And we actually had lunch together like a month or so ago when he came up to Sacramento to visit. He is from Southern California, and I thank him for coming out. And when he puts in the call for the 20, I'm really putting him on a very tight range. I mean, it feels like something like pocket tens, pocket jacks, maybe ace king or ace queen. Flop comes out 10-7 deuce with two clubs. So I got second pair, some backdoor flush and straight draws, and I decided to bet 20 just to see where he's at. And he shows me right away that he is very interested in the pot because he raised it to $80. Now, when he does this, I thought instantly that, does he have pocket tens? But then I figured, I don't think he would raise right away with pocket tens. So I don't think he would do it with pocket nines, and plus I hold a 9. So maybe he has something like jacks, or maybe he has a flush draw. Anyway, I think I'm going to have to take one off here and see about making maybe a play if I miss, or getting some extra value if I hit something sneaky against him. We see a turn card which comes a king of hearts. And I kind of pick up on something that maybe he really doesn't like that card very much. So I could represent a king pretty easily. So I lead out for $100. That's a risky play, but I have a fairly decent read on my opponent, thinking that this card is a real scare card for him. Anyway, he goes in the tank for a long, long time before finally deciding on a fold. Because he knows if he puts in the call, there's a high likelihood that I'm going to just shove on the river. And if he has a hand that's hard to improve, like pocket jacks or pocket queens, it's hard to call off your remaining chips. Anyway, we end up winning this pot with a bluff. It's probably the biggest pot I won all day, and I had a bluff to do it. Overall, it was a pretty uneventful session. I played for over 5 hours and didn't really have too many interesting hands. Some days are like that. We ended up going out for dinner, had a very nice dinner with the vloggers and some of the supporting cast. It was also Andrew Locke's birthday, so we had a little bit extra involved. We got to sing him a little happy birthday song. And Fish Poker, man, that guy can sing. Well, not as good as he could drink.
Birthday, dear Andrew Locke. Happy birthday to you. All right, keep doing it. Not for your pleasure.
So here's a couple really interesting hands I played at Capital a week or so later. I'm in the big blind with Queen Jack suited. There was a raise to 13. I call along with 5 other players. Flop comes out Queen Jack 10 with 2 diamonds. I really don't like this, even though I got top 2. I check it. It gets checked around to the player on the button, who is a loose player and bets for 35. I'm afraid he's going to be running me into the pre-flop raiser who would always c-bet with one pair, so I think he might have flopped a straight. And sure enough, after the player from the middle position calls, he shoves all in for like $240 something. Yeah, he got me for an extra $35 here. I'm not going to pay off his ace king. The other two players could have a queen or jack or maybe even both, and we can be drawn extremely thin. So I'm just going to save some money here, just muck top two, get out of the way. There are three players that are interested in this pot. To my surprise, the final player who's closing the action decides to jam. I really thought he might have a flush draw by the way he called, but his jam means he has a lot more than that. And he wasn't the pre-flop raiser, the person to his left was. The other person calls off his remaining stack. So we got like almost a $1,400 pot going. Turn card comes 8 of diamonds. River card comes 8 of clubs. The player on the button shows 6-4 diamonds. The other player who jammed all in had ace king, and the player who was the initial aggressor and shoved first all in, he never showed his hands, but by the way he reacted, he probably had ace king also. So I was really happy I saved some money from dodging that last hand. About 30 minutes later, I pick up ace-7 suited from the hijack, open for a raise to 15. I get a caller from the button, the small blind, and now the big blind puts in a raise to $50. They are a very good player. They putting in a raise, they really have something. I think I'm still getting a pretty good price. I put in the call, expecting the other two players to call also. It was a very call-happy game, and of course, both of them do put in the call. So we're going to have a $200 pot here, going 4 ways to the flop. Diamonds, diamonds, diamonds. The flop comes out 5, 8, 10, all diamonds. How sweet it is. We flop the absolute nuts. Not only that, the big blind leads out for $100. Most likely a overpair. Maybe they have something like pocket kings with a king of diamonds. That would be nice. They would continue all the way through. Of course, nothing much I can do here. I just put in the call. I'm not very deep at this point. I only have like $460 in my stack. The player on the button also puts in the call. Has me a little concerned, the same player that had ace king when they flopped a straight. Thinking of a blank, and it comes 8 of clubs. Not a great card. I can picture the player behind me calling pre-flop with something like pocket fives, maybe 8-10 suited. I decide to check, and he shoves all in. The player in the big blind decides it's a wise time to get out of the way. They said they later folded what was pocket aces. Here, I don't think I can do anything but call off. If he has pocket five, so be it. If he has 10-8, so be it. He would also make this play with a smaller flush that he might have flopped, or maybe he's just making a play with 2 overcards or a straight draw with a diamond in it. So, yeah, he can be a total bluff at this spot, or he can be running into a full house. But I'm definitely not going to be folding. So as soon as the other player folds out, I flip in the chip, saying I'm not good enough to fold this hand. River card comes is a king of hearts, and the player says that they missed. And so I play with him a lot. I gave him the courtesy of not having to show, and I showed down my ace high flush. Most likely he was just making a move on the pot after the two of us showed weakness on the turn. It was a good attempt by him. You know, if I didn't have anything, I probably would have let it go, but I just happened to have a pretty strong hand at the time. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate your support. On a more somber note, many of you might have heard that there was an incident at Capitol Casino where someone robbed the casino and a person lost their life. That person was actually a security guard at Capitol Casino named Sean. Sorry about that. I'm getting a little emotional. He was like in his mid-20s. He was the father of a young girl, I believe 1 or 2 years old. And he risked his life to help others, and he paid the ultimate price for it. And I'm really sorry for his family's loss, and I know they have a GoFundMe to help the family out with some expenses and stuff. And I'm not telling you to donate to it. I'm just telling you that I did, and I really think it's a sad moment. very sad moment at Capitol Casino. He was a very nice gentleman. Always said hello when I said hi to him, and he definitely will be missed. Anyway, until next time, guys, go look at the tables, and we'll see you soon.